The Sonic the Hedgehog franchise is rich in history when it comes to its characters. You have Sonic himself, his best friend Tails, and his rival Knuckles. But what about characters that originated outside the games? Characters like Sally Acorn, Bunny Rabbit, Antoine de Collet, and Road of the Walrus. These were characters that were introduced in Sonic SatAM and appeared in subsequent Archie comics. But how would they work in the games? This is what I would do. But first, recap. SatAM was about Sally and the Freedom Fighters teaming up to defeat Dr. Eggman, or Dr. Robotnik, as the show called him, and they would liberate Planet Mobius thanks to Sonic's help. So, for them to appear in the games, this is what I would do. Let's talk about the gameplay first. Gameplay-wise, Sonic is very fast, and anyone else that's playable is fast. Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Shadow, you name it. They're fast-paced characters, so Sally may have trouble being playable in a fast-paced environment. The only Freedom Fighter that can be playable like that is Bunny Rabbit, given her cybernetics. So how does Sally Acorn work? Simple. You either make her an NPC, akin to Call in Sonic Adventure, and at least in Sonic 06. Those girls were NPCs, but they were important to the story regardless, so Sally can still be just as important as either of those girls. If you don't want to go the NPC route, there's also making her playable but changing things up. Maybe Sally's levels could be more stealth-based. She would sneak around destroying badniks. It would be very similar to gameplay to Sly Cooper, because in the Sly Cooper franchise, Sly sneaks around the levels, knocks out the bad guys, and does what he needs to do. He can get into a melee fight, and he can take out several enemies if he needs to, but he mostly sneaks around. Give that to Sally. Let her sneak around for most of the level, and that's how her levels will go. But I will admit, slow pace doesn't always work. I know a lot of people complain about Big the Cat in Sonic Adventure. I know a lot of people complain about the night levels of Sonic Unleashed. I don't know if they still complain, but I know that was a criticism when the game first came out. So that's still a risk, and there's not to say they want to take that risk. But let's say the mainline games don't work. How about an RPG? Sega already made a Sonic RPG known as Sonic Chronicles of Dark Brotherhood. There's no reason they can't do another one because I think they've expressed interest. The best part is that Sega owns Atlas. Atlas is known for making the Persona games. So having the developers of Persona work on a Sonic game would be a great idea if they want to do the RPG route. So, in this way you can introduce the Freedom Fighters as playable. You don't have to worry about fast-paced stuff because everything's kind of on an even playing field. So Sonic's friends are playable, the Freedom Fighters are playable, you get cameos from both ends. Everything works out. So then, if that doesn't work, there's also the fighting game route. Sega created Sonic the Fighters. There's no reason they can't. There's no reason that they can't do more with that. I think they still have a team to make fighting games. Like they own Virtual Fighter, even they're not doing much with it now, aside from, but they're still updating Virtual Fighter 5, so that's something. Have Sonic and his friends fight, and with a fighting game mechanic, you don't have to worry too much about power scaling. If games like Dragon Ball FighterZ can have a team of Goku, Vegeta, and Jiren evenly match against Fidel, Yamcha, and Tien, then you can have Sally evenly match with Silver in a fighting game. So if there's a story mode, then obviously Sally's not going to fight Silver, but if it's a fighting game that's for fun, then yeah, it works out. Then you have, those are like my ideas. Either a mainline game giving Sally this Sly Cooper type thing, an RPG, or a fighting game. But with that out the way, let's talk about the story and how they would be introduced. The question you need to ask is this: are the Freedom Fighters Sonic's childhood friends, or did they just meet Sonic for the first time? I'm gonna go with the latter for now. We'll say that Sonic never met the Freedom Fighters, because this way they don't have to explain how Sonic knew these people for so many years, and we'll go from there. So yeah, it's like this. Knothole is a village somewhere in Sonic's world. The mayor of the village is Max Acorn, and his daughter is Sally Acorn. So, and you know what? I'm gonna go another route. He has two daughters, Sally Acorn and Nicole. This time around, Nicole's fully Mobian, and she was adopted into Sally's family. But after an accident with her family, thus Nicole's kind of traumatized and she becomes a bit of a shut-in because of that. I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from Persona 5 with Futaba Sakura here. So, this way you have Sally and Nicole's bond already. They grew up as sisters, and you understand why they're so close with one another. So Nicole's somebody that Sally wants to protect, and is a main reason to why she fights. So, Sally has her other friends. She has Bunny, she has Antoine, and she has Rotor. One day, Infinite came to town, trashed the place, and let's say he injured Bunny to the point where she can't really walk. She needed cybernetics. So, Rotor's a genius and builds her cybernetic legs and gives her cybernetic arms and basically goes full Iron Man with her. This way, Bunny could walk again and she could fight back. So, Sally and her team push Infinite away, or at the very least, he just leaves town and they have to clean up. Infinite's defeated eventually. The Phantom Ruby's destroyed. So Sally hears about this and she's wondering what happened. She finds out about Sonic and is like, she's so amazed because she's heard about Sonic, but she's never actually met him yet. But she's happy to know that he was alive and ready to fight. I would imagine that Sally has a one-sided crush on Sonic. So, because in the shows, Sally was Sonic's girlfriend, but I don't think Sega's gonna go that route. But they could at least give her a one-sided crush to kind of keep that romance part of her. But they're not gonna make it the main focus of Sally's character, because then again, she still has something she's fighting for. She's fighting for her stepsister Nicole. She's fighting because her best friend Bunny got injured, and she's fighting because she doesn't want the people in the town that her father rules to suffer. So she wants to go out and fight off Eggman's forces, even because she knows Eggman's going to come back eventually. At this time, she's done hiding. She wants to fight. If she runs into Sonic, this time around Sonic's not part of the Freedom Fighters. Thus, he will not take orders from Sally. I don't think Sally will be too bossy with Sonic. Maybe she probably suggests some things, but Sonic and his friends, they just do their own thing. That could probably frustrate her a little because she's trying to help, but she's not able to. But over time, she realizes Sonic and his friends, they know what they're doing, and the best thing she can do is to figure out how to help from her end. So she has Antoine by her side. He's good with a sword. She's got Bunny. She's blasting things. Rotor's her support, and Nicole's back home hacking everything to help the Freedom Fighters out. And let's not even stop there. There's two other Archie characters I'd like to introduce. First one is Fiona Fox. In the Archie comics, before she turned traitor, she was a medic. So I can imagine her being a town medic. She could be the one taking care of people when they get hurt. Like maybe, let's say, one of Sonic's friends gets hurt. I'm going to go with Tails. Tails gets hurt. He goes to a knothole and Fiona patches him up. I can imagine personality-wise, Fiona's like very snarky. Like she's snarky. She's always got like a backhanded comment, but she's not really so bad. Her snarkiness is just like a way for her to kind of cope with whatever's happening. She cares, she just hides it. But she has a best friend, that being Mina Mongoose. Why me? I say that Mina has potential as well because I know in the comics she has super speed, but I want to take that away for now. Here she's just a regular mongoose, and she probably aspires to be an idol. So she hears about Sonic, she hears about his friends, she's so inspired that she wants to like spread the word of how amazing they all are. And the idea of making her Fiona's best friend is supposed to be the whole Genki girl and moody girl type dynamic. Like, think Starfire and Raven in the Teen Titans. You have one girl who's super excited, the other girl who's kind of a cynist, but they kind of balance each other out. So I feel like Mina has a lot of potential with her charisma, because I feel like she'd also really want to connect with Sonic and his friends. So, I guess if there's one other character I'd like to see introduced, it would be Monkey Khan. He could be like a ruler in Chunan, and he'd have his freedom fighters that appeared in the Archie reboots. I mean, maybe not freedom fighter, but his own group. This just adds a bit more to the world to show like a little bit more to the places that Sonic likes to visit. So this is not going to turn Sonic into a generic soldier type thing with like I'm not turning Sonic into Fire Emblem or anything. This is just something he comes across. If they ever want to explore more in the IDW comics, they can do that. That's like maybe they'll introduce Sally to the comics instead of the games, but they can still do this type of story. So this is how I'm introducing them. I don't. So yes, Sally. That's my story for Sally. She was a girl from Nahol, and she was inspired by Sonic to go out and liberate the world and save people. And Sonic, again, I'm gonna reiterate, no crushes. I could see Sally and Amy crushing on Sonic, similar to Aerith and Tifa crushing on Cloud Strife. But in Final Fantasy VII, Aerith and Tifa aren't really at odds with each other over that. They probably know that they both like Cloud, but they're still friends. Sally and Amy both like Sonic, but I can imagine them wanting to be friends regardless, and they're not gonna butt heads over it. So Sonic may never end up with either girl, but they could at least give the fans a little something. And I guess in one of the games, if we go back to the RPG route, that they do the affinity thing that Tales of Symphonia was known for, as well as Final Fantasy VII, you maybe make Sonic choose who he wants to be with. And for fun, let's throw Blaze in there, because those fans need to be happy as well. But in the end, it will just be non-canon anyway. It just and probably, and I guess it will kind of cause a little more. You know what? Don't worry about whether or not causes dispute. We should still be allowed to have fun. And I'm gonna end off by saying this. I don't know what they're gonna do with Sally's wardrobe. I know Sega's weird when it comes to clothes on girls. I don't see the big deal. If the last Kirby game could feature a very busty female character and not give her any clothes, I think Sally should be fine. If they're gonna give her something, at least make it make sense and don't force her like the reboot did. That's my opinion anyway. So that's how I introduce Sally and the Freedom Fighters to the games. Or if maybe not the games, at the very least, introduce them into IDW. Um, I don't know if Sally will come back. I would love it if she came back. She's one of my favorite characters, and I think the Freedom Fighters need a definitive ending to their saga. But that's all I had to say. Thank you for listening to this. Peace out.